positives about this lesson, what would these positives be? Like if you were to tell me what was good, what you liked about the class compared to the previous lesson that I observed.
Sure. If I compare this one with the previous one, then the positive part is that I randomly pick some student to ask my question. To give me the answer of the question, and they are not really good in English, so I told them that they can give me the answer in Chinese. And they did. They gave me the correct answer. And there were two students who are not able to follow the class because I was talking in pure English. But after I translate, then they can still follow up. Yeah.
Okay. So one of the positives you said is, you randomly chose students. Was there any other positive things you noticed about the class that you taught for this lesson? Any other good things?
You mean feedback from the student?
Well, yeah. So positive is anything you determine is good. Anything you determine is worthy to mention. That a positive is something good, an improvement, something you like, something that makes you happy. So it doesn't matter if it's from you or from the students. It's as long as you think it's a positive, so it helps your teaching and learning.
There's one thing that I like is that when I give them the worksheet to do, I told them they have to finish everything in 10 minutes, and they all finish it, and it's kind of like correct. There are a few students who cannot finish the worksheet, but after I explain, I asked student who did it correct to explain, and they get answer.
So you said you asked students. Say that again.
So when I collect the worksheet and I check, I noticed that there are a few students who did not finish the worksheet. So I asked those top students like Jeffrey to give the answer and tell us why he wrote this answer, and so that the other student can understand, like that.
Okay, good. Okay, good. So is that everything? Is that all the positives? So I got, you thought a positive was you're randomly choosing students to answer questions, and another positive is that how students listen to instructions to finish the worksheet, right?
Yeah. Oh, and there's another one is that when I ask the first question, and only Jeffrey would be able to answer, so I ask him to give me the answer, and then I ask someone sit nearby him to repeat the word, and he could not repeat, so I help him to repeat, like that.
How did you help him repeat?
Like I just remind him what Jeffrey told.
So you told him what Jeffrey said.
Yeah. Does that help?
So why did you do that?
Because he did not listen. Also, he has English issue.
So if you want it to be more student-led, student-centered, where the focus is all about the child, the more you do, the more it takes away from the students. So if you ask Jeffrey to give you an answer, and Jeffrey gives you an answer, and then you choose another student to repeat the answer, and that student doesn't remember. Now, by you answering it means you don't have time, you don't have patience to get the answer. That, maybe because the time is running, so you want to be quick, you want to move around the class, maybe. But a good way is take the power away from you and give it back to the student. So instead of you answering the question, Because we don't need to see your knowledge. We don't need to know your knowledge. You get the student to say, ask Jeffrey. Or you get the student to choose somebody else, somebody different that they think will know what Jeffrey said. That's keeping the focus on the student. Student focused, student led, not teacher. When the teacher answers it, and it's teacher led. There's no right or wrong. Always have a reason to why you do something. Because if you told me the reason why you answered the question is because you wanted the lesson to move quickly, to be fast.
Yeah, we did the nuclear test.
Then I can understand why you did that. That does not mean you do that every class, every lesson. It just means for that situation, that's what you did. So there is no perfect class, there is no perfect lesson, because you're dealing with human beings. Always make sure that you involve the students as much as possible, different ways. The more you make the student do, the more benefit it is for the student. But if you are the one doing it, it doesn't benefit the student.
Okay.
If the student can't answer the question, then get the student to ask them. If the student can't answer, get student to ask. Get students to choose. Make the students do the work. A teacher's role is just to guide. Do you understand?
I understand.
Okay. All right. So, what about improvements? So you told me about the positives. Was there anything you could have improved?
Yes. Like the thing you just tell me, I need to more focus on the student, like let the student to be the master of the class. And also, because this class is a little bit different, over half of the students have already learned this topic when they are grade 3, but there were 3 students. They come to our school this year, and they did not learn these lessons before. So what I did was, so there's a big differentiation. So what I did was, I was just teaching based on the syllabus what I supposed to teach, but I make it a little bit fast when I teach. And for student who for those 3 students who never learned it before, I just ask the neighbors to help them. And when they do the worksheet, I went to them individually and helped them like that. So this is what I did, but I feel I could do a little bit more better on this case. Like, I'm still thinking, what can I do to improve? Probably I could prepare some bilingual worksheet for them so that they could easily get it. Or maybe I should ask them to pre-study before I teach this lesson.
Okay, so I noted down that in terms of improvements, make it more student-centered, and in turn, make it student-led. So if you focus on the students, meaning that what you do is centering on the students should naturally start leading, because it's all about them. Okay? I also note down that some students are left behind due to the pace. You mentioned that you talked about the pace, that you tried to make it a little bit fast, and you talked about some students are new, so they get left a little bit behind. But what was interesting is that you said you make use of other students to help them.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got the notes in terms of positives and improvements. Now, in terms of moving forward, I would suggest, have you seen this before? Do you know what this says?
B.
What this?
Three?
Yeah.
BE. BE. 3E. 3E.
Let's start again.
B.
It's free.
3.
B for me.
Oh.
Okay. Free before me. This is a teaching strategy.
Oh.
To
What's that?
It's this strategy is to involve more people.
Oh.
So, when a student wants to go to the teacher for the answer, go to the teacher for help, go to the teacher for support, that's putting the power back to the teacher. But I'm trying to teach you to make it more student focused. A lot of times in your career, you're going to find students always coming to the teacher, because the teacher has all the answers. They're the savior of the class. They know everything. But you don't know everything. You're just a human. You're just trying your best. But when the student goes to the teacher, they are not taking any ownership or responsibilities themselves because they always believe the teacher has all the answers. The idea of free before me is free people before me, the teacher. Go to free people before me, the teacher. So you go to 3 different people before you go to me, the teacher. I repeat. Ask someone to your left. Ask someone to your right. Ask someone across you. Then you can come to me. That's just trying to train the students. Give them the habit of being independent. You know, independent doesn't actually always mean you do everything by yourself. Independent can actually mean that you are able to find answers in many different ways other than going to the teacher. Going to the teacher means you are dependent on the teacher. Dependent. The opposite of dependent is independent. Independency. Okay? So if you don't want them to be dependent on you, the teacher, then you need to train them on how to be independent. Make use of other people around them. So that's the idea of free before me. So you go to 3 people before you come to me.
It's like my university teachers.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember she always asked me to search on the internet, and if I cannot find the answer, I can go to her.
So another one that links to free before me is SNOT.
Snot.
SNOT stands for self,
So,
neighbor, other,
other.
self, neighbor, other, and something then teacher. Self, neighbor, other. I forget the other 2 T's. I'll find it now. I'll find it now. Let me go in.